So, Pokemon Day is fast approaching, and there's been so many ideas and theories throwing around in terms of what is Game Freak and Pokemon Company presenting that day. And of course, obviously, the number one contestant is Scarlet and Violet DLC. That's honestly to be expected at this point, with Sword and Shield having their expansion passes. But there has also been leaks throwing around in the bunch in terms of having an all-new original, or perhaps even a remake of a most beloved spin-off series of all time. And yes, that is of course Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Now, whether or not you believe those leaks that have been thrown around of Twitter of all places, of course, I'm just very excited at the notion that Mystery Dungeon might make a comeback. Now, for those that haven't known this about me in terms of Pokemon and my lore, I've grown with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. In fact, those were the very first Pokemon games I've actually played and even completed, particularly Explorers of Sky. And that game just holds a very special place in my heart. Just constantly playing on the Nintendo DS, each like for hours and hours, and completing it and beating it and just being a Riolu and all that. In fact, that's the very same game that made me like fall in love with the Riolu and Lucario, because after that I just wanted them on my team in Diamond and Pearl and so on and so forth. So Mystery Dungeon holds a very special place in my heart, as do many people, and so with or without the leaks, I'm just excited about the possibilities of hopefully having either an all-new original Mystery Dungeon game, which I'll talk more about that because I feel like that's way more deserved than a remake of Explorers of Sky, and here's why. Explorers of Sky, in my opinion, is already perfect. There's no need to try to remake something that is literally perfection. You can play that game now and it just runs so very well. It just is an already well-enriched experience. And so even if this ends up being a remake, oh, you know what, I'm down with the idea. I just hope it stays consistent with the art style that Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX on the Switch provided, and probably add a little bit more quality of life features that probably weren't there at the beginning with, but you know, as time goes on, obviously, like I said, the game is already perfect, but there could be some flaws here and there. That's already a given. But I mostly want an all-original Mystery Dungeon game because it's about damn time for this to be a thing, okay? The last original Mystery Dungeon game was Super Mystery Dungeon, I believe in 2015 for the Nintendo 3DS. And since then, we haven't had a Mystery Dungeon game at all. Like, Generation 6 was the last attempt at a Mystery Dungeon game, and that's it. Generation 7 never got a Mystery Dungeon, Generation 8 never got a Mystery Dungeon, and I think it's about time here of Generation 9 that we get an all-new Mystery Dungeon encompassing both Generation 7 and Generation 8 with their starters, because they honestly deserve a Mystery Dungeon game. Plus, when you think about it, having a Mystery Dungeon in this era of Pokemon would be such a stress reliever. I get that that was kind of the intention with Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, and while that is a very nice and lovely remake of the GBA games, I just want something all original, something that, you know, can be something similar to what Scarlet and Violet provided in the aspects of an all original concept that finally took breath, like an open world idea for Pokemon. Something similar to that with, you know, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon would be something nice. An all new original approach, while obviously sticking to the traditional dungeon crawling routes that these games are known for. And this is something that I kind of had a little bit of a critique with Rescue Team DX, because it was basically a one-to-one recreation of its original counterpart, while yes, improving quality of life improvements, applying Generation 6 mechanics such as the Mega Evolutions, having some of Generation 4 Pokemon like, you know, the Riolu and Lucario lineup and things like that. It didn't feel like something that needs to be a modern Mystery Dungeon game, and something of a modern Mystery Dungeon game would be so well received for the Nintendo Switch at that, and just in general for the Pokemon community, because I think it's high time, especially when you consider the fact that there has been so many unorthodox but well-received approaches to the Pokemon formula, such as Legends Arceus and again Scarlet and Violet. Or we could just be overhyping and over-exaggerating things and say like, hey, you really think you're getting your Explorers of Sky remake or an all-new original Mystery Dungeon game? Nah, here's Rescue Team Blue and Red original on the Game Boy Advance Switch Online, and here you go. Enjoy. I could probably, that for sure might happen at the end of the day, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. But in terms of me specifying what I would want in an all-original Mystery Dungeon game, I think that would probably be a separate video, or even when I cover the Mystery Dungeon games, because I'm telling you, if there ends up being a Mystery Dungeon announcement, be it a new original Mystery Dungeon game, or even just a remake of Explorers of Sky, I'm gonna do the Mystery Dungeons as a video marathon, a video review marathon, because while I do have for the Sonic fans Sonic Rush, since we did hit 4K, I am doing that in the works. That is in the works, trust me. But if Mystery Dungeon gets announced on Pokemon Day, I'm doing it. I definitely want to do a mystery dungeon video essay marathon. It would mean the world for me, especially like I said, Mystery Dungeon Explores the Sky, my very first Pokemon experience, my very first Pokemon game to complete, and just a treasured experience back when I was a 9-year-old kid. So yeah, if Mystery Dungeon happens, Pokemon in the Pokemon Direct on Pokemon Day, I'm doing it. We're doing a mystery dungeon, but only time will tell. I'm just excited at the idea, regardless if there's leaks or not, and I think everybody feels the same way too. But yeah, like I said, Pokemon Day is fast approaching. Let's hope they actually end up doing that, and comment down below your thoughts as to whether or not there should be an original mystery dungeon game finally after so long, or if there should be a remake of Explorers of Sky. My opinions at the end, I honestly don't care either one. As long as Mystery Dungeon ends up happening regardless, I'm all for it. I felt the same way when Rescue Team DX released and got announced, so if this ends up happening again, I'll probably have the same reaction and sentiments, because Mystery Dungeon, it's so awesome. It's such an awesome spin-off series that honestly I think many people should try out, regardless if you're a Pokemon fan or not. But I think it's time to cut this short, and only time will tell in the end. So thank you all so much for watching. Keep supporting the content, especially if you're new, so go do all that YouTube stuff, like, comment, and subscribe, and all that kind of jazz. Know that I love you as always to 120. Keep being awesome, keep being safe and sexy out there. Do good into the world, because I know you guys can. And I'll see you all with that next one. So peace out and take care. And also don't forget, if you haven't experienced Mystery Dungeon, I highly recommend Explorers of Sky. Trust me, that is peak fiction.